Hey, good morning, everyone. Today we are going to learn about new topics, which is context-based recommender systems. Mm, So the topics that we are going to discuss today is about context-aware recommendation. What is context-aware recommendation? And I would like to introduce what is concept. Sorry, what is context? And Uh, we are going to learn about the acquisition. Acquisition means how to collect the context, and selection. It means how to identify the relevant context. So the relevant context means the important context, and how we can incorporate the context. Oh, this is not content, context. So how we can incorporate the context, context incorporation. So there are some algorithms to deal with the context incorporation. The algorithms can be related to the context filtering or the context modeling. So the materials I wrote in this slide mostly were taken from this tutorial in 2016 about the context in recommender system. First, what is context? If you want to know about context, you need to understand what is non-context. Context anin nggonen moy. So whenever you make a decision making when yeah, whenever you want to decide something, you will need some rational and plus contextual. So the contextual can be anything, for example, your mood or maybe your companion. Companion means your friends or your family or yeah, your uh, brother and sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and etc. Or the occasion. What is the occasion? Maybe it is your birthday, or maybe this is Christmas time, or maybe this is New Year time, Solal, Chuseok, and etc. So some examples: when you do the travel, if you do the traveling on winter will be different with traveling on summer. When you watch movie, when you watch movie with children, it will be different when you watch movie with partner. When you go to restaurant, it will be different if you go to a quick lunch restaurant or you want to have a business dinner with your colleagues. When you listen to music, there will be different when you listen to music for workout or you listen music for study. So you can see that different occasion or different time or different partners will give you different decision. So by the definition, what is context? Context means any information that can be used to characterize the situation of an entity. So situation, what kind of situation? So the definition by this author in 2001, they mention a matrix. Okay. So this is a matrix. If you look at this one, there are some knowledge about the RS. Okay, you know the RS is recommender system. So the knowledge of the RS about the contextual vectors, whether it is fully observable. Fully observable means you know everything. You've always looked at the person on everything. Partially observable, you just know some of the context. You may not know other things. Maybe you only know about the time. Maybe you only know about the partners, but you do not know the details about the price. Maybe you don't know the details about who is the person name and etc. Or sometimes it can be related to the unobservable. So it is totally no detail. There is no information about the context. And you need to figure out by yourself about the context. The other things that is related to the context, how the contextual factor changes. So the contextual factor can change static. Static means there is no such big changes. For example, if I want to watch movie with my children, then I will always watch movie with children. And next week I will watch movie with my children. Next year I will watch movie again with my children. So static. But if it is dynamic, then maybe this week I will watch movie with my children. Next week I will watch movie with my friends. Next week I will watch movie with my students and so on. So the context is really dynamic and different anytime. So here is the detail. If it is fully observable and the static, then everything known about the context. If it is fully observable and it is dynamic, then the context relevant is dynamic. So every time can be changed. The partially observable means we have some partial information or we have partial knowledge and it is static. So it always be the same. If it is partial and dynamic, so I just know some of the information and the knowledge is dynamic. So it is changing every time. If it is unobservable, then it is the latent knowledge of context. So do you know latent? Latent something is hidden, something that we cannot see obviously, but it is a knowledge. The most difficult part is when it is unobservable and it is dynamic. So we do not know anything about the context, but we need to give a recommendation. So the representative context means when we have the fully observable and static. So the most of the research in the domain recommendation system, the algorithms always use the representative context. So we assume that the context is available. We assume the time is available. We assume the person or the type of movie or the type of restaurant they are available. But there will be another issue, for example, the interactive context. The interactive context means it is non fully observable non-fully observable may be partially observable or unobservable and dynamic. So yeah, in this part, this is the interactive context. So in the interactive context, there are many works. How to deal the non-fully observable and dynamic. For example, yeah, this research adapting recommendation to contextual changes using hierarchical hidden Markov models. This one is adapting to user preference changes in interactive recommendation. So interactive means it can be changed through time, or it can be changed whenever you do something with different people in different contexts. This one, context adaptation in interactive recommendation system. This one, context aware music recommendation based on the latent topic sequential patterns and so on. So I think, yeah, this is a very good idea for your maybe the team project topic. If you can adopt some ideas how to deal with the interactive recommender system, or if you can deal with the context awareness, then yeah, it is like something the trend of the recommender system. So CARS, we call it CARS because it is stand for context aware recommendation system or recommender system. And if you look at the CARS, as we know, we have the representative context. What is representative context? Fully observe and static. Okay, fully observable and static. Then it means I know every information about the context, and the context always the same. There is no changes. So the observed context means the context are those variables in which may change when a same activity is performed again and again. So whenever you watch movie, okay, I know that you always watching a movie at the particular time at a certain location and with the same companion. For example, you always watch movie in the CGV at Gangnam on weekend. So yeah, you can have that routine, and yeah, we have that information. You listen to music. Maybe if you listen to music, you always listen to music in the morning at your office or maybe in the bus. And when you just wake up in the morning, so your emotion is good, and the occasion is during the trip from your house to the school. So yeah, we can also have another information like if you visit a restaurant or if you go to party, maybe you always have a party in the evening in nearby Mohyun, and maybe after you finish the mid exam and final exam. Travels. Let's say you want to visit another country on the vacation, maybe the location you like, maybe Japan. So you always visit Japan on the vacation in the winter time, and yeah, you always use the transportation. For example, when you go from Korea, you use airplane, and when you go to Japan, you drive. So that kind of things if it is repeatable and you perform again and again at the same time, so we call this is the representative context. So what is the difference between cars, the context aware recommender system, and the contextual, the traditional RS or the traditional recommender system and the contextual RS? So what is the difference? The difference is only the context. When we use the traditional recommender system, we have users, we have items, and we have ratings. So we have this information. Who is the user and what items that the user bought, or what item that the user watched, what item that the user looked at, what item that the user purchased, and we have the rating. However, when we use the contextual, we need to have another information, which is context. For example, the user one bought item one and he gave the rating 3. And we know that the user one, when he or she bought the item T1, it was on the weekend and he bought that item at home. And when she or he chose that item, he was with his kids. So we call this is the context. And this is the multi-dimensional context aware data set. So we have some information, additional information, how the user interacts with the item. And at the end, again, the goal of this rating is how can we predict the rating? How we can recommend this item T3 to user one, given that the time is on the weekend and the location is in the cinema and the companions are kids. So what is this reading? So it is more complex than only the user and item. When user and items are available, yeah, you can easily look at the similarity. You can look at some methods how to predict the rating. But when additional information are available like this, then yeah, you need to do it with more advanced techniques or with some more additional ways to predict the rating with the least error. So terminology, the terminology in cars or the context aware recommender system, there are three kind of terminology. The first, we want to know the dimension. The dimension means the attribute. For example, this attribute, we have the context dimension, which is about time, location, and companion. And we need to have another terminology, which is condition. The condition means about the time. Usually, we use some categorical data. Of course, there might be numerical data, but let's just consider the condition as the categorical data. The time can be weekend or weekday, or sometimes we can have morning, afternoon, evening, or sometimes we can have like the winter, summer. The location, the location can be a particular location, home, cinema. And we have another terminology, we call it context situation. So a situation means the unique information for every attribute. So this is one situation. On the weekend, at home with kids. So this is one situation. Can you figure out another situation? Yeah, weekday, home, and partner. So this is another situation, and so on. We have weekend, cinema, partner. So this is another situation. It means a unique data of these three attributes is one situation. Now, the most problematic issues is the context acquisition. We call it the context acquisition means how to collect the context, how to collect the context and user preferences in context. So by user surveys or explicitly asking for user inputs. So we can give interview to the users. So the interviews or the survey means, yeah, you can interview directly or you can use some questionnaire. We need to predefine the context. So what are the attributes that you want to ask? And ask users to rate items in this situation. So you need to have the rating at that situation. Because when the user in different situation, maybe the mood is different, the emotion is different, and the rating can be some bias. Or you can directly ask users about their context in user interface. So usually in some uh, maybe if you watch movie in the theater, okay, if you go to Gakchang and then you uh, need to give some rating, then yeah, at that time the user can just fill in the user interface given by the theater. Whom did you go with? And then what about your feeling on this movie? And when they give the rating, so they collect those information and they can use the information for another purpose. So by usage data, it means someone collect the log data. The log data means maybe when you go to the theater, when you input your numbers, so they collect your personal data. It in the particular time in the particular location. So this is the at least information. So user behaviors can also infer context signal. So that's why when you watch movie, usually they will also give you like options. Do you want to watch movie and you buy popcorn? So they give you a set. If you want to buy a set, then maybe it will be cheaper. And that's a kind of context signal because they know that many people will watch movie and eat popcorn. So that's what the user behaviors. So some of the context acquisition in the real time, you can look at the application. For example, you use Google, or now if you use the navigation like Neighbor, Kakao, Map, and etc. So they collect your data. So once you do search on those navigation, you don't realize that they capture your data. in the real time, and they want to know what is your behavior. That's why nowadays it is very famous to look at the trajectory analysis. So the trajectory analysis means when you go somewhere, what will you, where will you go next? So after you visit from your house to school, where will you go? So we can analyze the trajectory. If you open your navigation, or if you look at some places from neighbor. So we can also have the context acquisition explicitly whenever you book a hotel, a room, or maybe you book a travel airplane ticket and etc. For example, yeah, you want to book a hotel in the, yeah, this is an example, and they ask you what kind of traveler are you. So if you click this one, family, okay, then they know you do the traveling with your family. And of course, the time of year, yeah, you can easily figure out when did you do the booking. Okay. So that's why there are some works in this domain. For example, how long did you do the reservation before your trip? So if you are working on the company such as booking.com or Agoda or other, maybe in Korea it is famous like hotels.com and Yanolja. Okay, so they can know how long did you do the reservation before your trip, so they will analyze the timestamp. So that kind of things, it's also about the context. When did you do the reservation? When did you go for your traveling? And then also, what kind of language did you use to do the booking? So that's also another context. And yeah, we can check also the rating. With those context information, we want to know what is the rating that you give for this hotel. And as you know, whenever you do some kind of rating, you may give some awards. You may get some awards. For example, yeah, you can get some points, or maybe you can get some coupon and etc. So those kind of question like this one, short, what sort of trip was this? So if it is business trip, or if it is couple trip, or it is family trip, friends, or solo trip, then yeah, this is a kind of information that they want to collect so they can get some information for the future reference. And some of the application, they give this kind of questionnaire. For example, yeah, this is uh, an application, South Tirol. After you finish with the booking, okay, so they ask you question like, I see myself as open to experience imaginative. Then if you can figure out yourself, yeah, among those options, okay, I'm a person who are open to experience, then I can know what is your personality. If I know about your personality, then I can give you another recommendation. about the hotel for your future reference. So the other kind of information like this one, this is another additional information. When you already completed on your trip, so they will ask you, was it far from your start location? So this is another context question. What was your feeling during your stay? And how long did you stay in this blah 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 blah? Okay. So this kind of things, yeah, it is also another context information that they want to collect, and they will use it for the recommender system. Sometimes we can also get a predefined context. Predefined context means if you use Spotify, okay, or I don't know the apps in Korea, okay, but also I know that some of them they also give you some recommendation like this one. You listen to music, okay. So the music that you want to listen are is it related about the mood, or do you want to listen to pop music, or do you want to have a party related music, or now you are walk out, or you are doing some exercise, whether uh, yeah, we want to know those kind of context. And when you click, then the app will give you some good music related to this context. So this kind of context, we call it the predefined because it is already defined by the application, even though we can have another context. And yeah, the Google Music also have some kind of information about the predefined context. Now I'm listening a music, and yeah, Google can look at what is the day of today. So it is Saturday afternoon. Okay. So if it is Saturday afternoon, what are the activities of you? Maybe the options are among those four. You can working out, you can do the cleaning the house, or you may be hanging out, or you may be relaxing at home. So this is the alternative that Google gave to you. Of course, there might be some options, another options. And if you click one of this one, then Google knows now you are doing these activities. And because you are doing, for example, working out, then yeah, Google can give you some recommendation about the music. The user behavior is also another issue. If you are, let's say, you are here, then there will be a connection with other user, with other user, with other user, with other user. So what is the relation between you and other user? So if you, this is you, read a post from the social media. So let's say, yeah, you read a post in the Instagram, or you read a post in the neighbor blog from this guy. Okay, this guy give comments, and you also give comments to this guy, then it means there is a high relationship between you and this person. So this person share this post in the social media, then this person and this person, they may have the same interests. This person view this post, then you can see that this person have interest on the post that given by this person and this person and this person. And we can see the relationship. If the relationship between this one, review, read, comment, and share are high, then there is a possibility that those people can be in one community. If they are in one community, then we can give a recommender system. If the person, if this person like something, most probably this guy also will like what this person like. So this is based on the user behavior. So for example, if there is a kind of behavior, this user view this new item. Okay, because this user view this item, we can say those three people may also like what these people do because they have similar interests, they have similar behavior, they have similar characteristics. So in the context, okay, we, as you know, we have the context relevance and we have the context selection. After we do the context acquisition or collecting the data, now the issue is apparently not all of the contexts are relevant or influential. So you can get a lot of context, but is it relevant or is it influential? So that's a big question. You can filter this one by giving some questions or a survey. For example, which ones are important for you in this domain? So we will find some the important attributes about movie. So when you watch movie, is it important that you are connected in the social media with your friends? Maybe there is no relationship with the social media or movie. When you want to recommend books, okay, is it related with time? Maybe there is a very small relationship between time and so on. And we can also look at some features by doing the feature selection. Okay. So if you learn in the data mining, you learn about the PCA. So we want to reduce the features. If there are so many features, we can reduce with the PCA. Or if there are so many features, we can also reduce with the LDA, linear discriminant analysis. Or we can do some statistical analysis or detection on the contextual rating. So the contextual rating means, yeah, we can check the statistical tests. For example, using the t-test, okay, or we can use the ANOVA or other kind of statistical tests. For example, Freeman-Halton test. You can check whether they are significantly different or they are significantly the same. Or we can use some other method, for example, using the information gain, mutual information, and etc. Okay. So the information gain, you can look at the decision tree in the data mining. If you join the data mining class, I think you learn about the decision tree algorithm, and the decision tree use the information gain. Yeah, there are many data sets that you can use for the context awareness. For example, in the food domain, yeah, you can have the AIST Japan food, Mexico Tijuana restaurant data. Yeah. For the movie, you can use some additional movie data set like Adobe Movie, Depal Movie, LDOS, Komoda data. For the music data, you can use the in-car music. So the in-car music is yeah very good data. For the travel, yeah, you can have the trip advisor, yeah, South Tyrol Suggest STS, the one that I showed you before. And for the mobile application, you can use the Frappe data. Yeah. So the Frappe is a large data set, either small or sparse. Yeah. So Frappe is quite big. Okay. You can deal with this data set if you like to do the context aware recommendation system. The other data is quite small, or yeah, you can know about sparsity. Sparse means there are many data which has no reading. So if you want to look more on the data set, you can go to this link and look at the details. Okay, then let's have a break. Okay, I will continue the algorithms things after the break.